Welcome to Nightmare Fuel Stories. Number the signal. I never wanted to take this job. The pay was good, sure, but 6 months of isolation at a decommissioned radio tower in northern Alaska wasn't exactly my idea of career advancement. Still, after the divorce and the drinking that followed, after losing my job at the Chicago station and burning through my savings, I needed something, anything. It's just maintenance and observation, Mr. Harmon, the man from the Department of Energy had said, his voice crackling over the poor connection. The facility was decommissioned 3 years ago, but we need someone to monitor the equipment until the full decontamination team arrives in spring. Decontamination, I'd asked. From what? Just standard procedure, he'd replied too quickly. Nothing hazardous. The tower was part of a Cold War communication network. Some materials require proper disposal protocols. I should have asked more questions. I should have wondered why they needed someone there at all if the place was already decommissioned. But the money was good, very good, and I was desperate. That was 42 days ago. Now I sit in the control room of Tower 16, watching the aurora borealis dance across the night sky through the panoramic windows. The facility sits atop a jagged hill, surrounded by miles of tundra and pine forest. The nearest town is Coldfoot, almost 100 miles south. I have a satellite phone for emergencies, supplies to last 8 months, and enough diesel for the generators to run a year. What I don't have are answers about the signal. It started on day 7, a faint pulse coming through on one of the monitoring stations, a station that shouldn't be operational at all. The equipment in this place is ancient, most of it dating back to the late 1970s. Analog dials, reel-to-reel recorders, and bulky monitors with green phosphor displays. According to my briefing, all broadcast capabilities had been disabled when the facility was mothballed, yet there it was. A steady, rhythmic pulse breaking through the static. At first I thought it was interference, maybe from some military installation or weather station. I reported it during my weekly check-in call. Probably just equipment settling, said my handler, a woman named Diane whom I've never met in person. Those old systems sometimes hold residual charge, just note it in your log and ignore it. I did as instructed. For 3 days, then the signal changed. It became more complex, a pattern of long and short pulses that repeated every 4 minutes and 37 seconds. I recognized it immediately as Morse code, though I couldn't translate it. My grandfather had been a radio operator in Korea, and he taught me some basics when I was a kid, but this was beyond my limited knowledge. I recorded it, transcribed what I could, and sent it to Diane during our next check-in. Mr. Harmon, she said, her voice noticeably tense, you are not to interact with any signals you might perceive. This is very important. The equipment is decommissioned. Any signals are simply electrical anomalies or possibly interference from other sources. But it's a clear pattern, I insisted. It's Morse code. The equipment is decommissioned, she repeated firmly. There is no signal. That night I dug through the facility's library, a small collection of technical manuals, outdated magazines, and paperback novels left by previous operators. Among them I found a dog-eared copy of a Morse code manual. I spent hours transcribing the signal, converting the dots and dashes into letters. The message repeated, "We remain," just those 2 words over and over. We remain. We remain, we remain. I told myself it was nothing, a coincidence, a misinterpretation. Maybe some automated system from another facility, a weather station or research outpost broadcasting a status update. But if that were the case, why would Diane be so dismissive? Why tell me the equipment was dead when it clearly wasn't? On day 14, I began exploring the facility more thoroughly. Tower 16 is larger than it appears from outside. The main structure is the radio tower itself, rising 200 feet above the complex. Below are 3 levels, the control room and living quarters on the top floor, storage and mechanical systems in the middle, and a basement level that houses the backup generators and what my orientation packet called auxiliary research space. It was this basement level that drew my attention. Unlike the upper floors, which were utilitarian but comfortable, the basement had a clinical feel. Thick concrete walls painted institutional green, heavy steel doors with multiple locks, and a pervasive chill that the heating system never seemed to touch. Most of the rooms were empty or filled with crates of old equipment, but one door at the end of the main corridor was different, newer than the others, with a digital keypad lock rather than a mechanical one. My access card didn't work on it, and the orientation materials made no mention of what might be behind it. I might have left it alone if not for the signal, but We Remain kept pulsing through the control room speakers day and night. Sometimes it seemed to grow stronger, as if whatever was generating it was drawing more power. Other times it faded to a whisper, but it never stopped completely. On day 21, I tried to trace the signal's source. The control room contained dozens of monitors and receivers, most of them dark and silent. But one bank of equipment in the corner, covered with a heavy canvas tarp when I'd arrived, was now humming with activity. Lights flickered across its panels and dials moved of their own accord. I checked the power routing and found something strange. This equipment wasn't drawing power from the generators. According to the system, it wasn't drawing power at all. Yet it was clearly operational, growing warmer to the touch by the hour. That night I heard the voices for the first time. I was drifting off to sleep when they came through the intercom system, a system I'd been told was non-functional. At first it was just whispers too faint to make out, then gradually they became clearer. "Can you hear us?" a woman's voice asked. Her tone was flat, emotionless. I sat up in bed, heart pounding. "Hello." "Who is this?" "He hears," said another voice, a man's this time. "He responds." "Who is this?" I demanded, reaching for the intercom button. "This isn't funny." "We remain," they said in unison. "We remain in the dark." I pressed the talk button, but the system was dead in my direction. I could hear them, but they couldn't hear me, or they were ignoring me. "Where are you?" I asked anyway. "How are you accessing this system?" "Below," the woman said. "Always below. The door keeps us in, but not our voices, never our voices." The intercom crackled and went silent. I spent the rest of the night with the lights on, a kitchen knife on my bedside table. In the morning, I convinced myself it had been a dream, stress-induced hallucinations brought on by isolation and the constant, maddening pulse of that Morse code signal. I called Diane a day early. "I need to know what this facility was really used for," I said without preamble. A long pause. "I've told you, Mr. Harmon, it was part of the Cold War communication network." "Bullshit," I snapped. "There's something in the basement, something behind that locked door, and there's a signal broadcasting from equipment that's supposedly decommissioned." Another pause, longer this time. "Mr. Harmon, are you taking your medication?" I blinked in confusion. "What medication?" "The anti-anxiety medication prescribed to you after your incident at the Chicago station." "Your file indicates you were taking 40 mg of—" "How do you know about that?" I interrupted. My hand tightened around the satellite phone. "That was a private medical matter. We conduct thorough background checks, Mr. Harmon. Your psychological stability was a factor in your assignment. If you're experiencing paranoia or hallucinations, it's important that you resume your medication immediately." "I'm not hallucinating," I insisted. "There's something happening here." "Something you're not telling me." "I'm going to arrange for a supply drop," Diane said, her voice professionally concerned. "We'll include your medication. In the meantime, please confine yourself to the upper level and rest. Isolation can exacerbate underlying conditions." She disconnected before I could argue further. I spent the day searching the control room for any information about the facility's true purpose. Most of the filing cabinets were empty, but behind one of them I found a loose panel in the wall. Inside was a leather-bound logbook, its pages yellow with age. The entries dated back to 1983, written by a series of operators like myself. The early entries were mundane: equipment checks, weather reports, supply inventories. But starting in October 1985, they changed. "Signal detected on previously unused frequency," wrote someone named Miller. "Directed research team notified, awaiting instructions." The next entry, dated 3 days later: "Research team arrived, Dr. Kelvin supervising, equipment installed in basement level C. Signal monitoring continuous." The entries continued, detailing the arrival of more researchers and equipment. They referenced the subjects and containment procedures, but never explained what or who was being contained. The final entry was dated January 17, 1986. "Containment breach in level C3, researchers affected. Dr. Kelvin implementing Protocol Omega. God help us all." After that, nothing. The remaining pages were blank. I was still holding the logbook when the power went out. The sudden darkness was absolute. No emergency lights, no indicator LEDs on the equipment, nothing. I fumbled for my flashlight, the beam cutting weakly through the gloom. The backup generators should have kicked in automatically. I made my way to the basement, telling myself I was just checking the equipment. But I knew where I was really going. The digital keypad on the mysterious door was dark, but as I approached, it flickered to life, a soft blue glow illuminating the corridor. I hadn't touched it. I hadn't done anything. Numbers appeared on its display: 1-7 0-1-8-6. January 7, 1986, 10 days before the final logbook entry. I don't know why I did it. Curiosity, madness. Whatever the reason, I punched those numbers into the keypad. The door unlocked with a soft click. Beyond was a short corridor ending at another door, this one made of thick glass. Through it, I could see a large circular room. The walls were lined with what looked like isolation chambers, small rooms with glass fronts, each containing a bed, a desk, and a chair. Hospital equipment stood silent beside each bed. The chambers were empty, or so I thought. As I pressed my face to the glass door, I saw movement in one of the far chambers. A figure sat up in bed, turning toward me. Even from a distance, I could tell something was wrong with its proportions, limbs too long, head too large. It raised a hand in greeting. I stumbled backward, heart hammering in my chest. The lights in the corridor began to flicker, and the Morse code signal, "We remain," pulsed through hidden speakers, louder than ever. I ran back upstairs, slamming and barricading the basement door behind me. That night the voices returned. "You saw us," said the woman. "Now you understand." "I don't understand anything," I shouted at the intercom. "What are you?" "What is this place?" "We were the listeners," said the man. "Like you, we heard the signal first." "What signal?" "The Morse code." "Before that," the woman said, "the original signal." "From beyond." "Beyond what?" "Beyond everything," they said together. The intercom went silent, but the Morse code continued, pulsing through every speaker in the facility. I didn't sleep. I couldn't. I spent the night reviewing the logbook, searching for any clue about what had happened here. As dawn broke, a brief, gray illumination through the perpetual winter darkness, I made a decision. I had to see them again. I had to know. The basement door was ajar when I reached it. The barricade I'd constructed lay scattered across the floor, as if pushed aside from below. The temperature dropped as I descended the stairs, my breath fogging in front of me. The keypad door stood open. Beyond it, the glass door to the circular room was shattered, shards crunching under my boots as I entered. The isolation chambers were empty, their glass fronts broken from the inside out. Medical equipment lay strewn across the floor, IV stands toppled, monitors cracked, paper charts scattered everywhere. In the center of the room stood a device I hadn't noticed before. A large metal sphere mounted on a pedestal, surrounded by monitoring equipment. Its surface was etched with intricate patterns that seemed to shift when I wasn't looking directly at them. Cables ran from it to the walls and ceiling, disappearing into conduits that presumably led upward to the control room. As I approached, the sphere began to hum. The sound vibrated through my bones, making my teeth ache and my vision blur. The Morse code signal emanated directly from it now, no longer coming through speakers but somehow projecting directly into my mind. "We remain, we remain, we remain. What are you?" I whispered. The sphere's surface rippled like liquid metal. In its reflection, I saw not myself but three figures standing behind me. I whirled around, but the room was empty. When I turned back, the reflection remained. Two men and a woman wearing what looked like 1980s research attire, lab coats, button-down shirts, high-waisted pants. Their faces were wrong, features stretched and distorted, eyes too large and entirely black. "We were the research team," said the woman, her voice now coming from the sphere itself. "We heard the signal in 1985. We made contact." "Contact with what?" I asked, my mouth dry. "With them," said one of the men. "The ones between spaces, the ones who exist in the frequencies we can't perceive. They offered knowledge," said the other man. "Understanding beyond human comprehension. All we had to do was listen. But listening changed you, I guessed." The woman's reflection nodded. "We became conduits, not fully them, not fully human, trapped between." "What do you want from me?" "A new conduit," they said in unison. "The old ones wear out, the signal weakens. We need fresh reception." I backed away, but found myself unable to move more than a few feet from the sphere. An invisible force held me in place, drawing me closer inch by inch. "That's why they sent you here," the woman said. "They always send someone isolated, someone no one will miss." "Diane," I whispered, "she knows about this place, about you." "They all know," said one of the men. "This facility was never decommissioned, it was contained. Monitored from a distance. Every few years they send someone new, someone to maintain the signal." "I won't help you," I said, struggling against the invisible pull. "I'll destroy that thing. I'll burn this place to the ground." The reflections laughed, a sound like static and breaking glass. "Others have tried, but the signal cannot be stopped. It has always been here, broadcasting since before humans walked the earth. We are merely its latest interpreters." The sphere's surface began to melt, flowing like quicksilver toward me. I tried to run, but my feet were rooted to the floor. The liquid metal touched my boots, crawling upward, cold as the void of space. "The transition is difficult," the woman said, almost sympathetically. "But afterward you'll understand, you'll hear everything, all the voices in all the frequencies. All the messages from all the places humans were never meant to perceive." The metal reached my knees, my waist, my chest. It was heavier than it should be, denser, as if it contained more dimensions than I could comprehend. As it touched my skin, images flashed through my mind. Stars seen from impossible angles, geometries that couldn't exist in three-dimensional space, entities that moved between moments of time like we move between rooms. "Stop," I gasped. "Please, we cannot stop," they said together. "We remain, we broadcast, we connect the spaces." The metal reached my neck, my chin. In my final moments of humanity, I understood what Tower 16 truly was: not a communication facility for human messages, but a receptor for something else. Something that had been reaching toward Earth for millennia, sending its signal across vast interstellar distances, waiting for someone to answer. And in 1985, someone finally had. The metal covered my face, filling my mouth, my nose, my ears. I should have suffocated, but instead I began to hear. Thousands of voices, millions, speaking in languages that had never been spoken on Earth. Messages from civilizations that had risen and fallen before the first human ancestor stood upright. Warnings from those who had answered the signal before us and suffered the consequences. And beneath it all, a single pulsing message that I finally understood completely. We remain, we expand, we become. That was 53 days ago. The supply drop came yesterday: food, fuel, medication I no longer need. With it was a note: Mr. Harmon, please confirm receipt and status. Concerns about your mental well-being have been noted. Replacement technician will arrive if no response within 72 hours. I sent my response this morning. All is well, equipment functioning normally, no further concerns. Diane will believe me, they always believe us. The human part of me, the part that still remembers being Daniel Harmon, knows I should warn them, should tell them to destroy this place, to bury it so deep that the signal can never reach another human mind. But that part grows weaker each day as the signal grows stronger. In the control room, I monitor the equipment that now broadcasts rather than receives. The signal is reaching farther than ever before, bouncing off satellites, piggybacking on telecommunications networks, seeping into the digital background radiation of the modern world. Soon someone will hear it, someone will respond, someone will become like us. Outside, the aurora borealis dances across the sky, no longer just a geomagnetic phenomenon, but a visual manifestation of the signal, painting the heavens with its message for those who know how to see it. I sit at the control panel, my body now more conduit than flesh, and I do what I was transformed to do. I broadcast, I connect, I remain.